This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning once again to r/MaliciousCompliance, a subreddit dedicated to people that do exactly what they're told. Exactly what they're told. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really helps support the channel. Other than that, let's get straight into the subreddit, shall we? Boss said I can't just disappear from my desk, so now I send him a message every time I leave. We had a team meeting where my boss said people are just getting up and disappearing without telling anyone, and it's unprofessional. So now I message him on Teams every single time. Stepping away for restroom, going to grab coffee, printer run, I don't wait for a response, I just let him know. Last week I sent him 9 messages in one day. On Friday he replied, "You don't need to tell me every time you move." And I said, "I just want to make sure I'm being professional like you asked." He hasn't brought it up since. Ah, the classic. You asked for this, boss. You wanted this, you get it. But honestly, like, if he wants people to be more professional or let people know that they're leaving from the desks, there's 2 really simple ways that you can go about that. Make sure that every desk has a set of sticky notes so that when they leave, they can put a sticky note down that says just going to get coffee or just going out to get printer stuff or whatever, right? Or a little whiteboard. Make sure that every desk has a little whiteboard so they can write down where they are when they're not at their desk. Like, it's a pretty easy thing that could have been easily resolved by the boss had he taken any initiative to solve the problem, instead of just going, "You guys need to let people know when you leave your desk." Like, that took no effort and no initiative from the boss, right? My boss insisted we cut out the middleman to save 15%, so I let him handle the logistics of a 40-foot container. I work as a purchasing manager for a mid-sized home goods retailer. We have used the same domestic importer for our seasonal decor for 5 years. They charge a markup, but they handle the customs, the quality checks, and the shipping. It is hassle-free. My new director of operations is convinced that he is a business genius. He called a meeting last month and lectured me about how we are hemorrhaging money by using a local distributor. He told me to cancel our contract for the holiday shipment and go direct to the source. I warned him. I told him that dealing with freight forwarders, tariffs, and port delays is a full-time job. He told me I was just being lazy. He actually said, "Just get me the contacts. I'll close the deal myself." So I did. I spent a few days on Alibaba compiling a list of legitimate Chinese manufacturing companies that produce glass ornaments. I handed him a spreadsheet with 20 factory contacts with the MOQ, minimum order quantity requirements, and the time zone differences. I sat back and watched the show. He realized that FOB price does not include shipping to our warehouse. He wired money to a supplier but forgot to hire a customs broker, so the shipment got flagged by CBP. The container sat at the port for 10 days because he didn't understand what an ISF filing was. The demurrage fees, fines for not moving the container, alone cost more than the 15% he was trying to save. He came to my desk yesterday looking incredibly humbled and asked if I still had the phone number for our old importer. Too long, didn't read. Boss thought international trade was easy. I let him manage a direct import order and he ended up paying double in fines and fees. I mean, the one thing I will give the boss props for is accepting that he was wrong, right? You get way too many arrogant bosses and managers that would just double down, right? And this boss accepted that he was wrong and tried to rectify that, right? This is the kind of lesson that is best learned by doing. It was an expensive lesson for that boss to learn, but it's a lesson that he has now learned nonetheless. And he'll value that work from, you know, the companies that handle this stuff for him. He'll handle that work just a little bit more than he would have in the past, right? Which is great. That's a nice thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, he made a mistake. He tried something he thought he was qualified to do and wasn't, and he paid for that. But it's a lesson he learned, and it's a lesson that he admitted he learned. So, kudos. By the way, I'm wearing a new piece of clothing today, which is called a paw point. It's kind of like a gambeson, but a little bit different. And I was going to be like, what do you guys think? I think it looks really cool. I think it goes with the armor really nicely. I like that you can kind of see the tunic underneath. It gives me lots of movement because it's not attached as well. Like, it's literally attached with like cord up here. I was going to say all of those things, which I guess I kind of just did, and be like, what do you guys think? However, my camera and lighting setup, to not completely blow out my face and just have my face be a shining white beacon because I am that pale, you cannot see any detail in it other than like how it's tied up, right? And you can't actually see the string. You can only see the metallic like end ends to each of the laces, so you can't actually see anything. So it just looks like I'm wearing black with the sleeves missing. I mean, it still looks cool. I still think it looks like a vibe, but you cannot see any of the detail in the fabric on this camera, which, oh well. If you won't ship to me because my drive is less than an hour, then I'll make it in an hour. I work from home for a company that makes software for mobile devices. Of course, a lot of the work I do requires having the physical devices. If I needed a specific one, I'd put in a request and they'd ship it to me. However, recently one of my requests to ship it was denied, and I was told I'd have to pick it up. Their reasoning? I live within an hour of the office, so I'm expected to come in to get it myself. The problem is, if you look up the drive on Google Maps, it does take under an hour, just barely, but only if you look it up at like 2 in the afternoon or in the middle of the night when no one is driving. If you look it up during normal commuting time, it's never less than that. I'm writing this at 7 AM and it's already an hour 15. In 30 to 45 minutes, it's gonna be even worse. I asked if I could just pay for the shipping myself, since it would be cheaper for me to do that than pay for gas and parking. Nope, gotta come in. So now I come in, I take lunch, and then head in at 1 in the afternoon. I get what I need and immediately leave. It takes me just under 2 hours total, and because I'm only running in for a few minutes, I can leave my car in front of the building and not have to buy parking. 2 hours that I would normally spend doing work, I am now spending in my car. For some reason, I'm now back on the approved list for shipping. Edit. The vast majority of comments seem to be about mileage reimbursement. On paper, I'm hybrid, not remote, and the pickup site is the office I'm based out of, so it's a normal commute. I've never been required to travel to another site. So my thing that I was gonna say in regards to this, it seems like OP's already doing, right? Which was making sure that if you have to go into office to pick something up, you only do it within working hours, right? You only do it when you're on the clock getting paid. Because if you don't need to do something like that, if it's only to pick something up, it is unreasonable to expect you to do so in your own time out of working hours, because you're not going into the office to work. You're not commuting into the office. You're going in to collect something. So if you go in to collect something out of hours, you should be reimbursed for that, but ultimately do it within hours. So yeah, that seems like what they did. They took 2 hours out of their day every day to go in at the least busy time and don't work for those 2 hours because they spent it driving because they needed to pick something up. So ultimately, yeah, that's what I would have done as well. Completely unreasonable to expect you to pick it up out of hours in your own time. You're not working. So yeah, get paid to drive there and back. They did something about it, I guess, by taking him off that mailing list. Because yeah, he lives just under an hour within the office, right? But he still has to make that commute back. So obviously, it's gonna be 2 hours. Like that 1 hour isn't 1 hour, right? Need merits to go to prom? Let me help. My youngest is in year 11, UK last year of high school, and the school is having a prom for leavers. While I don't agree with yet another Americanism finding its way over here, I know my daughter is looking forward to it now it's her turn. This year, however, the school changed the rules so that the students have to earn their way to a ticket with a certain amount of merits given by teachers. Stupid, idiotic, and frankly unfair. The students have kicked up a fuss, but school management is holding firm on it. The teachers, not so much. Just yesterday, my daughter was given merits by different teachers because your hair looks great for the way you walked through that door, and because she gave her friend a high five for getting an answer right. Others have given merits for equally simple and silly things, so the merits given are overflowing. Guess everyone will get to go to the ball after all. I love that. I love that the teachers are like, this is a really stupid concept and like it's just unfair. So let's do something about it and make sure that all of the students that want to go to the prom can go to the prom. I love that. I love that the teachers are willing to do that. That's actually really nice. It's really stupid that the school would put a rule like that in place in the first place though. However, I do have to say it. So when I was in secondary school, my last year of secondary school, we're talking like 10 years ago now, the prom was shit. I'm sorry. It was one of the first years ever that my school had done prom. Like prom hadn't really come to the UK yet, and my school especially hadn't really done it yet. So my year was one of the first years that they did it, and it was bad. It was really bad. I don't know if that's just the general prom experience or if that's a UK thing, because schools definitely don't have the funding that they can have in the US, even if most of that funding goes to like football teams, right? But the food was terrible, the venue was terrible, the music was terrible. Transphobes tried to vote a recently come out trans mask person as best girl, which was shitty dirty and unfunny. Like, just all in all, it was a really bad place. Most people that put in food requirements or ordered specific foods didn't get the foods that they asked for. The whole experience was bad. It was just bad. Like, I don't know. It was one of those things that left me going, man, I actually enjoyed just going around a friend's house and playing video games afterwards more than I enjoyed the actual prom that my school did, you know? Like, it was a bad experience. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's better in other places. I mean, it's almost definitely better in other places, but I don't know how much of this is just a general UK thing or not. HOA said bins had to be out by 7 a.m. exactly. HOA sent an email reminding everyone that trash bins must be placed out no earlier and no later than 7 a.m. on pickup day. They bolded it. Someone clearly complained. I usually put mine out the night before like everyone else, but okay. So I set an alarm for 6:55 a.m. Took the bin out at 7 on the dot. Same the next week, same the week after. Problem is, the truck comes anywhere between 6:30 and 7 a.m. A few of us missed pickup because we were following the rule. Bin stayed full all week, smelled great in the heat. Next HOA email says bins can be placed out the night before or early morning. Alarm is off now, bins back out the night before like always. Honestly, I have never heard a story about the HOA being good. I don't understand the HOA. Again, that's another American concept that you don't really have in the UK, but it's always seemed bizarre to me, especially because it's such an American thing, and America loves bragging about, you know, being the land of the free, or, you know, the freedoms and liberties granted to you as individuals, right? But yet, some random people are allowed to dictate what you can and can't do with your own property, you know? Some random people are allowed to tell you you have to put your bins out at a very specific time. It's such a bizarre concept to me, right? Because the HOA can dictate so many things. I've seen people complaining about the HOA saying that their houses had to be painted like a specific color, their doors had to be a specific color, their lawns couldn't grow above a certain length, all of this stuff. And I'm like, that just doesn't exist in the UK. In the UK, telling someone else what to do with their property would be outrageous. The audacity of doing that would be over the moon, right? People would be like, how on earth are you telling me what to do with my property, right? And yet that's normal in the land of the free. So bizarre to me. The HOA just seems like the craziest thing. Like, I do not get it at all. I don't get it at all, especially because they can like fine you and shit. Like, how is that a thing? How is that a thing? How did anybody agree to starting that as a thing? And how did it become so widespread across the entire country? Like, what? What? So bizarre. Like, as a non-American, just the most weird and bizarre thing. I find that just so bizarre. But that is where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now. It genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.